Hi, welcome back to the channel. We're back in SquareForge, which is our Squarespace template builder that's got over 300 unique structural layouts that are perfect for building your Squarespace site. They're also deliberately white labeled, meaning that by the time you change your fonts, your color scheme, and whether you add rounded corners, etc., it will really come into its own. And today we're going to look at this team page and we're going to add one new layout. And very quickly, this is the design with these three blokes here with the facial composition for radio. We're going to be not using those photos, you'll be glad to know, and using monochrome image blocks in our layout. And I'm going to show you how to do this overlapping text effect here over top of a card layout and then adding the rounded corners. Then we're going to offset them, so 3 off to the side and then a 4th column then for an introduction to the team profiles. This is perfect if you've got 3 or 6 team members and you want to signpost off to a detailed page, or alternatively, if you wanted to just go with a very minimalist team profile type page. You can also extend this so you have 4 images and 4 team members per row if you have team members who don't want their photos to be quite that large on the page. Anyway, let's jump in and show how we can do this in Squarespace. So one thing I didn't mention at the start is SquareForge is built on the Squarespace platform. It's all integrated into Squarespace Fluid Engine 7.1. And that should make things so much easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a bit today. I'm going to use this example here, in fact, what we're going to do, I say this every time, is we're going to replicate this section here. And then we are going to basically add another column to the left. We're going to copy this content in and bring it down into that section. And then we're going to get rid of these text blocks here. And I'll show you then how to layer the text over top of these thumbnails and also add rounded corners and make sure it's working on mobile. So a little bit to get through. We should be about 10 minutes all in, I would suggest. So let's edit this team page. When you purchase SquareForge, which is of course optional, you can just go on to squareforge.net and steal these designs. But if you were to purchase SquareForge, you would have all of these layouts ready to go, so you can then adapt them to your needs. So I'm going to save that. And now we've replicated the layout. We should be able to go in now and edit. Okay, something's just gone wrong a little bit there now, so I'm just going to press refresh. Squarespace could be like that. Plus also we've got so many layouts packed into this system that some of these pages can be a little bit more problematic. Okay, so I found out what the issue is. These are list sections and I don't want a list section in my design. So what we're going to do is add a new blank section in here. I'll leave this one for now as a point of reference. So I've got one either side and we're just going to delete this one at the end. So what we're going to do first is add our 3 image blocks. And we're going to go with maybe dark background on this one. So we'll go with black background with dark grey images, just to mix it up a bit. I'm going to get the 3 images in place. What we're actually going to do is delete 2 of these once we've got the 3 in place. I'll explain why in a bit. There we go. So 3 equal column width there. Let's add a text block to the left of it. And we can see that the spacing is quite compact at the moment. We're going to work on that in a bit. And what I'm going to do now is take this section here. I'll just change it up a little bit. Okay, you can see it's ChatGPT content, but it's just placeholders. We're not going to worry too much about that. What I'm going to do then is just bring these to the height, so we've got roughly the structure that we want. Okay. We're going to edit this section now, and we're going to increase the gaps between each of these blocks. And if we mirror it up with this example here, I think got caught between mirror it and marry up. That's why you hear the new word there. So we're looking at roughly the same spacing, the portrait style, although it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be exact because different photos you'll be providing or adding in will have different attributes anyway. So now we're going to add the select from library, and I've got some just solid swatches that I use for all my images in SquareForge. We're going to go to edit the pencil option, we're going to go to design, and then we're going to go to fill. Once we've done that, we can now get rid of the other 2 images. I'm going to go in and just finish off the design on this one. So we're going to put a border radius of 30 on it. And now we've got these nice rounded cards. In fact, let's go and have a look across. I think we can get away with 20. But of course, you can change this up to your heart's content and get it working as you want it. Now let's add a new block. We're going to add another text block. And we're going to bring it in here so it's one column in from the left of the block. And now with that nice and evenly spaced there, we're just going to copy the name and the job title. Change that to maybe a heading 4. And we could go with heading 4 for both, and we could go for title in bold. This particular font is very bold and quite thin, so there's a huge differential between the two. And so we may not want to go with that, but we'll go with that anyway on this one. It'll be nice and easy to see, and imagine we've got the headshot in there then as well.
Squarespace block. It's a real thing. You have to leave in an hour, yet you're staring at a blank screen. The deadline will come and go once again. Coffee just isn't making a dent. You feel boxed in and out of ideas. We adore Squarespace and have successfully completed over 500 projects with the website builder. Yet we are not immune to the dreaded Squarespace block, staring at the screen, hoping for something to magically materialize. We have scoured the internet for the ideal wireframing tool and have come up empty. We adored the Squarespace section designs in the early days, but after hundreds of uses, they became stale. If I see that bloody landscape one more time. We've searched for, built, and even designed our own Squarespace templates, yet found them inflexible, restricting our design process. Instead of heading down the road to despair, we decided to course correct and build the mother of all Squarespace templates, a platform we could use over and over again, one that boosted creativity and saved us a huge amount of time. In our moment of despair, we forged SquareForge. If you need to freshen up your designs, save a heap of time, and, like us, don't want to move away from your favorite website builder, then we have built something that breaks the mold. And we know we have something amazing. And it's not because we're amazing, we're pretty boring. We know we have an incredible tool in our hands because we have used it over 50 times this year alone. We have built SquareForge from the ground up, pouring in over 20 years of web design expertise into a product that would work for us. We didn't even plan on selling it. SquareForge has saved us over 40% of our build time and ensures no website looks the same. It's time to say goodbye to Squarespace Block and hello to SquareForge. Let's build great big things.
So once we've got that in place, now before we duplicate those, which will be easy enough to do, we're going to go to Mobile View. And we can see that this needs a bit of work. So we're going to bring this thumbnail image. It doesn't need to be as elongated because we're working on mobile. There'll be more scrolling. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and just change slightly the ratio of the photo for mobile. It should work. So now we've got that working in desktop. We're going to look at the spacing. We could bring this down one more just to give a bit more breathing space between the text, the introductory text, and then the profile images. Drop back to desktop, and now from this stage we can duplicate both of those options, and then we can do it once more. So we build up a row at a time. Now we can bring this in. Sometimes I'll just paste it after the first letter. It seems to cause fewer issues with the formatting. Okay. So now we've got our first inconsistency. We can see that that text is longer. And so I'll show you how we can work that. There's two options really. We can either go for paragraph 1, which is slightly smaller, or even paragraph 2. But that might be illegible. So we're going to go with paragraph 1 to adjust it. And then we're going to make sure there's enough space at the bottom there. So if one of these drops to second line, it still flows. This will largely depend on the font sizes you select for your headings in your site. So there's no point in me spending too long worrying about this because your experience might be different. So there we go. So this one has both the title and the name both running over 2 rows. So what I would recommend doing is just aligning them up So we need to make sure we've got enough space there so that the head isn't being kind of overlaid by the text. And that's what's not helping, actually. I've just realized that's a heading 4. So there we are. Going to paragraph 1 fixes it. So your font selection will really depend on a few things, namely how the images are taken, how close in they are. So we don't end up with this text skewing the photo. And then we can then go back and check on mobile to make sure that these are spaced out properly. I think we can bring this down 2, bring this one down 1. So we've got nice even spacing in between each of the cards. So much easier than doing all 3 on desktop, then fixing them one by one on mobile. Now I've added a second row. This is optional. And now I'll go back to mobile view and just check it on mobile as well. So you can see it's actually made a complete mess of this on mobile on the spacing of the 3rd block. Not sure why Squarespace decided to do that. It's frustrating at times. In fact, I didn't see this either. So there we go. We'll fix that one as well. Just make sure they're nice and consistent. Okay, there we go. I did say 10 minutes. We've been 11 minutes, but if you allow me for the introduction, I think I was not too far off with the timing on that. But that's how we can build a very simple team profile page from scratch in Squarespace, or again, if you grab hold of SquareForge, you can basically save it as a favorite and then add it to any page, and all of the legwork's done for you. Hope you found this helpful. It never amazes me how many people I speak to and just say how limiting Squarespace can be, or website builders in general, in terms of you don't get the flexibility elsewhere. I say poppycock to that, because here's another example of an advanced layout that you can create using SquareForge and, of course, Squarespace. Believe me, by the time we put the photos in, even with hideous photos like these with yours truly in, you will find that it just brings the website to life. It looks thoroughly polished, professional, and just fits in where we don't have to just stick with the same kind of layouts over and over again. Anyway, there's a free membership here at pixelhaze.academy. So join our DIY membership. If you need any extra help or support with SquareForge or anything Squarespace or even Canva or AI tools, we have our coaching community where we run 5 coaching sessions every single week, myself and the team. Or we have our Designer Power Pack, which has all of that, plus a personalized development plan for you, plus a load of other goodies. And I've got another program in the pipeline that's specifically a transformation program where I'm going to work with a handful of designers or wannabe designers and wants to kickstart a professional and profitable career building websites with website builders. I've got all of the systems and techniques built up over the last 20 years that I've been building websites, originally bespoke as the owner of a large agency, and then more recently in the last decade with Squarespace, hosting a website builder, and other tools like Flowlands to create beautiful link trees. If you want to find out more about that, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.